I bet you got a lot of yarns up your sleeve, Mrs. Davidson.
All rather tame, I'm afraid, Lizzie.
Oh, go on. They say you belong to the cream of society. They say your father was a judge. That's what B. Smith says.
That's true.
Oh, well, you don't give much away, do you?
I'm sorry, Lizzie. Yes, my father was Chief Justice Mahon, and my brother was a Member of Parliament.
God, what's a fine lady like you nursemaiding us galahs?
Way I was brought up, I suppose. Our family has a long line of do-gooders.
I suppose Mr. Davidson was the same, eh?
Not exactly.
Did he run out on you?
Yes, we came to the parting of the ways. The Davidson family and I don't see much of each other anymore.
Except that bitch Barbara. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Davidson.
Yes.
You could do without her, I'll bet.
I could do without all of them.
Well, it was ambition that split us up.
Was it indeed?
Mm-hmm. You always did want to get to the top.
And I did.
Yes, you did. And look what you left behind you. A poor, lonely man with no one to take care of.
Indeed. I always thought those dolly birds looked after you very well.
Well, they did, to a certain extent. But there was always something missing from my life, Harry.
I thought we were here to discuss Barbara.
Ah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
You must realize that I cannot use my position to break the rules.
Seems to me you may be doing exactly the opposite.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you must admit if Barbara was some other first offender, you'd be doing everything you could to help her.
I have done everything I can for that girl and more. And what has she done in return? Nothing except cause me acute embarrassment with the department. My reputation is suffering because of her. Barbara, I know you can hear me, dear. So if you don't want to answer, at least listen. I've spoken to Doreen Anderson. She told me what happened. I've had a long and difficult session with Vera Bennett. Bet she was lying about me. Let's just say you won't have any more trouble with Officer Bennett. That I can guarantee you.
Sorry, Auntie.
Out to the van.
I will not be made a laughingstock by the senior members of my staff. I haven't much longer before my resignation takes effect, but until that time, I am still the governor. If I cannot rely on my staff to follow the rules, then I've just been wasting my time.
Oh, no. The way I feel at the moment, I could tell them I've thought it over, and my resignation still stands. Kill her.
Was anyone else hurt? You have to tell me. I'm still responsible. You've got to tell me. I'm so cold.
Why, yes, I did phone your office yesterday, Mr. Reynolds, but...
Andrew, please.
But there was no need for you to go to the trouble of coming all the way out here to Wentworth.
No trouble at all, I assure you. And now that I am here?
Well, you mentioned in one of our earlier discussions that you were interested in prison reform.
Oh, indeed I am, Mrs. Davidson.
Well, there is a meeting of the prison reform group this evening, and I thought you might like to attend.
I'd be delighted. I take it you'll be there.
Yes, I will.
Oh, I've enjoyed myself so much. I can't remember when I last went to the races.
Racing has missed you. There you are, fair lady.
Thank you, sir.
Where to now?
Home, James, and don't spare the horses.
Are you serious?
Of course.
Then you are letting me down.
Over what?
My dinner invitation.
I most certainly am not. You don't expect me to go out to dinner dressed like this, do you?
Oh, why not? You look stunning.
This is excellent.
It's funny. I wouldn't have taken you for a port drinker.
I learned to appreciate it from my father. He was a great connoisseur of good port.
Really? Yet another facet of the late Mr. Justice Mahon.
How did you know who he was?
Patient research and a mutual friend.
So you've been checking up on me, have you?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And what other dark secrets have you unearthed?
Only that your mother is a mild hypochondriac who lives in a large house in the country.
You haven't mentioned my highly successful brother, who's a member of Parliament.
You haven't mentioned your husband.
Does it matter?
It might.
Michael and I have been divorced for years.
You never thought of remarrying?
I've never met the right man, and I am a career woman. What about you?
Oh, I lead the gay bachelor life, unencumbered by care and responsibility. No, I can't lie to you, Erica. I am married.
Children?
2. But they're hardly children any longer. I'm sorry.
For what?
I didn't mean to keep it a secret. It doesn't have to interfere with our relationship, does it?
I wasn't aware we were having a relationship. I've devoted many years to my job, Andrew. I don't want to put myself in an awkward position by getting involved in any sordidness.
I can go, if you wish.
I suppose what it boils down to is this. Andrew Reynolds has been exploiting our women for his own financial purposes. I'm afraid the man's a crook.
Oh, I see. You don't work miracles, but you obviously are clairvoyant.
I'm afraid I don't follow you.
I gave no indication that the factory project was off.
But you can't let it continue, especially after what's happened.
I have made my decision, Mr. Fletcher, and whilst I do not feel disposed to detail my actions to you, I will say this. I have spoken at length to Mr. Reynolds and have made my position quite clear.
You haven't mentioned this to the department.
No, I didn't think the incident important enough. I am doing this to protect what I believe is a very worthwhile program in rehabilitation. Something you would be well advised to observe if you wish to progress further in your vocation.
Oh, Erica, look, I'm sorry to have to ask this. Well, if I don't, somebody else will. Is it true that you've been seeing Reynolds out of working hours?
Yes, it is. Mr. Reynolds has a very strong interest in prisoner rehabilitation. He wished to discuss it with me and invited me out to dinner. I saw no reason to refuse.
Oh, I wish I could nip this thing in the bud, I really do. But of course, as you know, my hands are tied. There will be an inquiry, you do know that.
Yes. I was forced to deny there was anything more between us than a business relationship. It's important the inquiry doesn't reveal otherwise.
Well, you know, I won't do anything to jeopardize your position.
I know. Of course, this means I won't be able to see you again.
Well, everything else has gone bad for me. Why not this? You know, I really do care about you, Erica.
Yes. But it's impossible for us, Andrew. I'm sorry it's turned out like this. I hope I'm not intruding.
Erica, this is my wife.
Mr. Reynolds has just come to discuss the cancellation of the work release.
Oh, yes. Yes, well, I'd better be going.
Well, there's no need for that, Meg. Please stay.
No, I intended not to be late anyway. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm sorry, Meg, but there's no need for you to go, you know.
Oh, I know that. But you want to talk business. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Meg.
I'm sorry I've embarrassed you.
Embarrassed me? I just finished telling Meg that there was nothing more between us but a business relationship, and you turn up here at this hour of the night.
I know I shouldn't have come, but we couldn't talk for long this afternoon.
I had said all I had to say, Andrew.
I am not prepared to give up my position and my career for the sake of a quick fling with a married man.
But that's part of what I wanted to talk about. Things have changed. It could make a difference for us.
What do you mean?
Julie wants a divorce.
No, Andrew, it's no use. Don't you see, if we were to go ahead with our relationship and make it known, it would only confirm the suspicions that we were having an affair. I would most certainly lose my position at Wentworth and probably be fired from the department altogether.
And is that what's most important to you?
Yes, it is. My work is my whole life. I couldn't be happy without it.
Well, at least I know where I stand.
I'm sorry, Andrew. I didn't mean to hurt you. I'm sure neither of us realized what we were getting into.
I'm not making any promises, Erica, but I don't want our relationship to be just a business association. I want to get to know you, be with you. And I don't want to run or hide from something that I haven't felt in years.
Neither do I.
My work is my whole life. I couldn't be happy without it.
Hello, Mother.
I suppose you're now going to tell me I look very well. Although, considering the length of time since your last visit, I doubt very much if you remember how I looked then.
I think you do look well.
I presume you're too busy with your wayward girls, or whatever they are.
How do you feel?
If you must know, terrible.
Now, you look after yourself, my dear. I'll be back to see you again tomorrow afternoon. Bye-bye.
How is she, Doctor?
Much the same.
Well, it worries me that Mother complains so much of suffering.
I must admit to being a little baffled. Your mother tends to exaggerate her symptoms, but I always allow for that. For example, she will tell me she has a severe migraine when the diagnosis indicates a mild headache.
Well, is she suffering from anything seriously?
No, I think it is age that has contributed most. She says she has severe headaches and blackouts at the moment, so I've given her some tablets. It'll probably turn out to be nothing more than a sinus infection.
Well, that's a relief, but all this exaggeration is worrying.
Yes. Well, I'm afraid it's very common at her age.
Can I get you a cup of tea, Doctor?
Oh, no, thank you, Gwen. I really must be off now. Well, I'll drop in again tomorrow, just to see how she's going. It's lovely to see you again, Erica.
Give my love to Margaret.
Well, what did he tell you? That I'm inventing my illness?
No, he didn't say that.
I could hear you, talking as if I wasn't here. I'm not a vegetable, you know.
Mother, you would do yourself and all of us a great favor if you would think about things more positively.
What do you mean?
Well, get out more, meet people, enjoy life.
How can I?
You are 69 years of age. There are lots of people that age who live incredibly busy and happy lives.
They're not as sick as I am.
Mother, the oldest inmate at Wentworth is 72 years of age. She's had 2 heart attacks, and only a few months ago she attempted to escape through a tunnel.
I resent your inference, Erica, and I abhor the comparison. I simply am not well enough to lead the life I used to live, whether you believe me or not.
Oh, Mother.
And what's more, if you showed as much concern for your own mother as you do for your social misfits, perhaps I would feel better.
You have no right to say that. I care for you far more than you ever cared for us as children. It's a pity you didn't show the responsibility towards me growing up that you expect from me now.
How could you?
Oh, Mother. Mother. Gwen. Gwen, come quickly.
Don't be so worried. She's fine.
How can you be so sure?
Suffice to say, it isn't the first time she's employed that trick. She does it if the situation gets beyond her.
You mean she was pretending to faint?
Oh, no. She merely withdrew from the situation.
Why didn't you remarry after your divorce?
Well,
You could have had a family. You were young enough.
I was immersed in my career and I just didn't meet the right man.
Didn't you want children?
Well, I've never really thought about it.
We don't converse very well, you and I, do we? You never tell me much about yourself.
Well, that's hardly my fault, is it? All my life, I wanted a mother I could talk to, be with. But you were never there. You were never available. When I was a little girl, you hardly ever talked to me. And as soon as possible, you sent me off to boarding school. You didn't want me. You didn't care about me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
Here we are. Pink pills as ordered. Will Madame have them as hors d'oeuvre or main course?
Gwen! Gwen, can't you hear the phone? Oh, how inconsiderate.
Dr. Vaughan, yes, put him through, please, Julie. Oh, hello, Doctor. I'm glad you called. I've been trying to... What? Good heavens.
She'd been telling me how ill she was, and I never really believed her. Now she's collapsed. A nurse found her by the phone.
Well, do you know what the trouble is?
Erica, I'm sorry. I can't talk to you. I'm calling from the hospital. I'd like you to come here as soon as you possibly can. They're going to operate right away. Your mother has a cerebral thrombosis.
I'm sorry. You have nothing to be sorry for. Come now, save your strength. Sorry. But why? Why do you keep saying you're sorry? Ask Dr. Vaughan.
Ask Dr. Vaughan.
Florence felt she was a failure as a mother, and she always worried about it.
But why?
Well, she was never at ease with children, and then something happened to take away the little bit of confidence that she did have. You weren't the firstborn, James. Florence had another little boy a year or so before you.
And something happened to him?
Yes, he had a bad fall and died of a brain hemorrhage. It was an accident that could have happened to anybody, but Florence blamed herself for it. And then when you two came along, she wouldn't trust herself with a child. She was always terrified of another accident.
Is that when she found a nanny for us?
That's right. And that's when started the parties, the charity work, anything to help her forget. And with old age, she found it very easy to hide behind her ailments.
I had no idea she thought of anyone but herself.
If only she talked about these things.
Yes, it would have made it so different.
And then when your marriage broke up, Erica, and you buried yourself in your work, She thought it was for much the same reasons that she, in her turn, would become a socialite.
She thought I was running away too.
Yes. And she blamed herself for all of it.
I've never really known her. My own mother.
Mrs. Davidson, Mr. Mann.
How is she?
I wish I had good news for you. We did all we could, but your mother didn't survive the operation. I'm sorry.
Don't look back, Mrs. Davidson. Just go.
It's been a wonderful house over the years.
More than a house. It's been a home.
Thank you, Gwen, for so much.
Go on. Off you go.
You can still surprise me, Mrs. Davidson.
Really?
Why don't we single out the ones we've definitely got something on and make examples of them? Otherwise, this...
What would you suggest?
Well, I don't think I need tell you what legal, perfectly legal, disciplinary measures are at our disposal. I'd begin with a 7 o'clock curfew, withdrawal of all privileges...
And within 2 days, we'd have a situation here, Miss Bennet, that even you would not relish. You know how understaffed we are. It is only because of the tacit cooperation of the majority of prisoners that we function at all.
And how do you think we get that cooperation? By patting them on the head?
Certainly not by breaking heads. You had a great deal to say yesterday, and I let you say it. Only because I do not wish to humiliate an officer in front of her colleagues. But I will speak my mind now, Miss Bennet, and you will listen very carefully. I am well aware that you exceed your authority in some areas, and that your overall attitude to the women is quite at odds with the way in which I will have this prison run.
You don't know these women. You can't. You come here with your university degrees over officers with years of experience in the prison service.
Such as yourself?
And others. You have a lot of fine theories. Oh, yes. These women can roam around unescorted, sit around gossiping. Look at Mason and that electrician. Everybody knows about them. Copulating in corners while we all look the other way.
I have that situation in hand and I'm dealing with it.
What are you going to do about it? Provide them with a double bed?
Don't be impertinent. Let me remind you that I am in charge here and you are not. Now return to your duties.
Yes, madam.
I'm sure you made the right decision. It wasn't really a decision, was it? Whatever the rights or wrongs of the situation, you made the right decision. If you say so, Mrs. Davidson. Oh, I do.
Over there.
Are you going to tell me what this is all about?
You're being held hostage. We'll set you free when they let Andrea Hennessy go.
Don't be ridiculous. I'll never agree.
Shut
to
up! Just do as you're told and you won't get hurt, all right? Have a look in her wardrobe. Get a coat or something to put over this shotgun when we go out.
Where are you taking me?
Don't be stupid. Why do you think we blindfolded you?
It shouldn't be too hard to work out. We've been traveling for about an hour. I can hear the water.
I'd say shut up! You're not in your prison now, Governor. While you're with us, you'll do as you're told. Come on, out! Come on! You've reached the door, there's a step. Sit down. You can take the blindfold off now. That's right. Take a good look around, because you're going to be here for quite some time.
What's it like being a prisoner instead of a jailer for a change?
You'll find out soon enough.
They'll never catch us. Once they let Andrea go, we'll just shoot through.
They'll never let her go.
No? Well, you better hope that they do. Otherwise, you're dead. We're already up for kidnapping. You said so yourself. How's it going to affect us? We may as well be hung for a sheep as a lamb.
They don't hang people anymore. You'd end up with a very long sentence in Wentworth.
We could cut off some of her hair.
What?
We could cut off some of her hair, put it in an envelope and send it to a television station. Well, we're bound to get publicity then.
Yeah, I reckon we would. Get some wrapping paper. We're going to send the TV station a little parcel.
Great. There, not too bad.
Here, give me that. Look, that's no bloody good. You could have picked it up off a hairdresser's floor. Hold still or I will cut your ear off.
You'll never get away with this. You'll spend the rest of your lives in jail.
Yeah? Well, you won't be around to see it if we do. That ought to convince them. Although I reckon we should send along a couple of fingers at least. Untie her hands.
No!
Oh, don't worry. We're not going to take your fingers. Not yet, anyway. You're going to get undressed. Put these on.
Oh, you haven't done so marvellously so far, have you? Coming out here without any food, and we haven't got Andrea back.
We will. It'll be no thanks to you when we do. God, you're hopeless. You should go home and play with your dolls. What are you doing? Sit down.
No!
Oh, damn! You go that way! Okay, stop it! Ricky, move away from her. Get up. Ricky, help her up. Come, move!
You inside. Lay down your weapons and come out. You will not be harmed. I repeat, come out peacefully with your hands in the air. You are completely surrounded.
Don't move, I've got a gun!
Ricky! They've shot her! They've shot her! You murderers!
Don't shoot! She's out of ammo! No, don't! That's Mrs. Davidson.
I don't know how you found me, but thank God you did.
Come in. Yes, Miss Ferguson.
Governor, I would like to make an official complaint regarding the current lax attitude towards the treatment of prisoners.
Oh, has there been some trouble?
Not in the sense of actually breaking the rules, no.
Well, then?
Some of the women are actually getting to the point of enjoying their stay here.
I hardly think enjoying is the appropriate word.
Oh, you didn't see them after the buy-up. Now that they can get any goods they want, they think that...
Ferguson, of course they would be excited now they can purchase a wider range of goods.
They're supposed to be prisoners. It's not a holiday camp.
Nor is it a concentration camp. They are paying for their crimes by losing their freedom. Making life unpleasant for them certainly won't equip them for a normal life when they return to society.
If conditions are too lax, it only encourages them to become recidivists. Look, they've got to learn to respect and fear the system. Otherwise, they won't hesitate in committing another crime the moment they get out.
Miss Ferguson, the department sets the rules, and it is our job to follow them. Your objections have been noted and will go on my next report. Now, unless you are in a position to lay a formal charge against the prisoner, I would suggest you return to your duties. All the right gates aren't open. It could be one is still trapped in there.
But the fire brigade will be here soon. I'll get them out.
It could be too late. Someone has to open those gates.
Erica, we can't afford to risk another life.
It's my responsibility, and I wouldn't ask anyone else to risk it.
Erica, come back!
Get her out of the there, lady. Get her to the place with the big truck.
You all right? Yes, I'm fine.
There's an ambulance up here if you need help.
No, I'm fine, really, Meg. I couldn't get through the gates.
Let's see if Colleen knows if anyone's missing.
I believe these were smuggled into the prison this morning by the social worker.
Barry Simmons?
That's right. He was processed by Meg Morris and he gave them to Paddy Lawson.
I fail to see how this is relevant to what we are discussing.
We are discussing lack of security.
Very well, point taken. This is serious. Lawson is due to be released.
Was due.
Your insubordination is not yet a closed subject, Miss Ferguson, so please do not correct me.
We asked for help to get rid of some of the girls' tattoos, and we were turned down flat, and we want to know why.
You were not turned down flat at all. The department hadn't made a decision, that's all.
Okay. Well, let's make one now. The girls would be real happy if you could. They don't like making trouble.
The program will start when we find someone to do it. And I might add, the decision was made before I came here.
Yes, of course it was. Well, there you go, girls. All we had to do was ask.
I'll see you in your office now. Come.
Sorry, I was looking for Mrs. Davidson.
Ah, yes. I'm afraid you won't be seeing Mrs. Davidson again. There's her resignation.
What?
Governor, there's someone to see you in your office. From the department, I believe.
Good. Hope he didn't see you two chatting as if you had nothing to do. We'll never get any more staff. Sorry to keep you waiting, but Mrs. Davidson.
Miss Ferguson?
Oh, I'm sorry, but I was expecting someone from the department.
I am from the department. We had a rather disturbing report about your administration. I'm here to investigate.
Now, I would like the use of your office. There are certain people I have to interview regarding the report, starting with Mrs. Morris.
Well, she's hardly unbiased, Mrs. Davidson, considering her demotion.
Miss Ferguson, official procedures make it necessary for me to interview Mrs. Morris. Please see to it immediately.
Had no idea you were back with the department.
Well, let's say after the Ted Douglas affair, the department was a little embarrassed.
Oh, you've got his job.
That's aiming a bit high. Oh, there's a reason for everything, Meg. It's called covering yourself. I'm very familiar with it.
She'll have to slip up sometime.
She will. But until she gives us the proper evidence, nothing can be done.
Did you want something, Miss Ferguson?
I understood that you wish to conduct these interviews in my office, not in the cells.
I understood your office was occupied. If it is not in use now, then I shall begin. Thank you, Judy. I suggest you stay here until dinner.
Thank you.
Mrs. Davidson, you have clearly overridden my instructions. I stated that all those women were to be charged and that Bryant was to be placed in solitary.
I decided the punishment needed reviewing.
The hell am I supposed to maintain discipline when you continually override my authority?
Once is not continually, Miss Ferguson. May I also remind you your position here is temporary. There is discipline and there is repression, Miss Ferguson. Fortunately, most of the damage can be undone. To start with, the tightened security will be relaxed. Work release duties returned to normal, and privileges restored.
You can't override my authority like that.
On the contrary, Miss Ferguson, I just have. As from tomorrow, you are acting deputy governor again. The department has cleared you completely. Congratulations.
Well, that's good news to take home.
See you both in the morning. Right?
Well, that didn't go down too well.
No.
Don't worry. I shall be keeping a close eye on things whilst I'm here.
I've just been out to dinner with Erica Davidson. A sort of farewell. She's resigned from the department.
You're joking. Was she pushed out?
I'm not sure, but she's certainly quite happy about it. She's got a position in Canberra. Some subcommittee which has been formed to examine the role of women in the workforce.
Well, good for her.
And Wendy, I'd like you to type a confidential memo. Oh, and Wendy, the memo. I have a memo here from the department about Paddy Lawson. I will not tolerate mass insubordination. Don't you ever raise your voice to me again. May I remind you, Miss Bennett? Lost. Goodbye.
Good night. Good night, Mrs. Davidson.
That is all. Carry on.